Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Laura, and I'll be doing some of your writing lessons this year. Today's learning target is I can identify the steps of the writing process. So, we're going to be doing two things. The first thing we're going to be doing is looking at what is the writing process, and then we'll be going into each step. By the end, you should have a clear understanding of what the writing process is and how we will be using it this year. Last year, you had reading and writing together, but this year you have a separate period for writing. During this period, we will be learning the craft of writing by learning new strategies and skills. So, what is the writing process? The writing process is our stages of writing that a writer uses to make sure that their writing is good and that they're becoming a good writer. There are 5 steps or stages to the writing process: pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. And I know that might sound like a lot of big words, but don't worry because we're going to be using this all year and you're going to become an expert at it. The writing process doesn't go in order. It usually does, but sometimes a good writer, which I'm going to show you, might be a one step at pre-writing and then start drafting or writing, but then decide to go back to pre-writing. Or you might go from revising to editing back to revising. So the writing process is not in one step. And again, as we go through the year, you'll learn how to use the writing process. So stop and think. How do you think this process can help you be a better writer? Just start thinking. Before, you would just write as a writer, right? You could just say, okay, guys, let's start writing. Let me show you how I write. Now go write. How is using a process where you go step by step, how do you think that might help you as a writer? Go ahead and write that in the chat box if you're doing this with a teacher, or just think out loud to yourself or to someone in the room. You can pause and then continue when you're ready. So the first step is pre-writing. In this step, you learn about the genre of writing that you're going to be writing about, the type of writing. You also brainstorm ideas about what to write about, and you organize your ideas into a chart. So this step is actually really important because sometimes as writers, we might not even know how to get started. This step is going to show you the tools to actually get started with a topic and go straight into writing. Step 2 is drafting. Step 2 is getting your ideas onto paper. You don't worry about spelling or grammar, you just get your ideas down. And it involves risk taking because it can be hard to start sometimes. So I put this little picture to show you how in pre-writing, you're using a graphic organizer, but then during drafting, it's actually getting your ideas down. And notice that usually during drafting, it doesn't even have to be perfect. It can be sloppy, you can erase, you can cross things out. The whole idea is just to get sentences onto the paper. Now, step 3, which is revising, and step 4, which is editing, these are probably the most important steps because now when you have your ideas onto paper, now I will show you, myself and your teachers are going to show you strategies to revise. Revise is making your writing better by adding sentences, taking sentences away, moving things around, trading words or putting new words that sound better. Revising is so important and it's what's going to make your writing piece sound better. Editing is one of the last steps, and that's important, but it's mostly talking about fixing your capital letters, your punctuation, your spelling. That one you can wait till the end, right? Unless you realize you spelled something wrong, you can fix it. But this is not the most important as revising is. Last but not least is the final step, which is publishing. In publishing is where you make your final piece. You add pictures, graphics, you can add a cover, you make sure that it's very neat, and you are prepared to answer questions about your writing. You did everything you had to do, so now you can answer questions about it if someone asks you. Today you learned the steps of the writing process. We will be using the writing process all year to become great writers. Just so you know, everything is not done in one day. We might spend a few days on pre-writing, a few days on drafting, a few days on revising, and a few days on editing. Just one piece of writing. That is what good writers do. They are never finished. So today I want you to go to Otis and answer the following questions. Number one, what steps are you looking forward to and why? What step? You could just tell me one. Number two, what step seems like you will need more help in, more support in? Is it editing? Is it revising? Is it drafting? Is it brainstorming? And if you need to go back and rewatch this video, that's why it's here for you to go back and rewatch it. Okay, guys,